Video of the Damned, a review of Cold Blows the Wind. Okay, buckle up. This is an odd one, and I have to thank Ted Gagan again for giving me stuff to check out. He never steers me wrong. But this one I wasn't sure about in the beginning. So it's Eric Williford. He's a writer and director. He's done a lot of shorts, some feature stuff, some series stuff. It stars Victoria Vertuga, who is also a writer and producer. And she's had a lot of roles. Dexter, Days of Our Lives, Disgraced, which was a previous Williford project. This has somebody you might know from one of the I Spit on Your Grave reboots, Jamie Bernadette, who has a very Brinke Stevens quality to her, which makes sense because they were in Axeman at Cutter's Creek together. We also have Danelle Leyva, a 3-time Olympic medalist. He actually got 2 silver medals during the 2016 Olympics on parallel bars and horizontal bar, and 1 bronze in the all-around in 2012, the Rio Olympics. He also competed on American Ninja Warrior, doing acting now as opposed to more the athletic stuff. And he's really good. I wouldn't have known from first sight that this was a fairly new actor. He's had some projects, but let's talk about the premise. Well, first of all, let's talk about the opening. Really weird editing. I'm not going to lie. It was like a montage of scenes that were about to happen in the movie. And I was like, what is this? It's just not something I'm used to seeing, but it is an editing choice that would be fitting of some odder 1970s films. And then once I saw the giallo lighting, I was like, is this inspired by Italian and Spanish horror? Maybe. I think Fulci would have been proud of this one. After that odd opening credit sequence, which had me wondering what I was getting into, we see this couple pop a trunk. They have hit a pedestrian, actually a jogger. In this case, we've seen this scenario in real life. We've seen this scenario in the beginning of one of the seasons of Fargo, where the perpetrator just brings the victim home. In this case, the couple has to decide what they're going to do about it. And they don't want to get caught. They don't want to go to prison for a hit and run, or even just like the vehicular hit at all. And they go to extreme measures to hide it. Unfortunately, the body that they leave in the woods, well, those woods tend to, in Pet Sematary style, restore some form of life. That would be enough for a scary premise, but there's also this odd woman who comes to the door seemingly asking for help, but with more nefarious motives in mind. And that's where this film just is on a different level, because it is throwing a lot at the wall to see what sticks. This has zombies and possession, captivity, crime, cover-ups. And a lot of what I have described happens within about the first 20 minutes. It's a pretty breakneck pace. And there's such a hodgepodge of genres here. It's a bit of Evil Dead mixed with, like I said, more of a thriller, or maybe if you saw Who Invited Them, which is about house guests who won't go away, there's a touch of that. A touch of, comedy horror and a comedy of manners, really. But there's also a lot of agendas at hand, and nobody is truly likable. Everybody is pretty badly behaved. And so you're not really rooting for anyone per se. It's more just trying to figure out how these horrible people are going to get out of these weird situations based on the way they've decided to deal with them. And so in that way, like I said, it reminded me of a chunk of films that I saw in Giallo January that were 1970s and Italian and Spanish horror, and a bit of, like I said, that Fulci, where there is sort of a mythos in place, sort of a supernatural horror in place, but it's all weaved together with this thriller, with this criminal behavior, and seeing how people are or are not going to survive this ordeal. It's definitely a low-budget independent film, but then there's these gory effects that suddenly pop up. I think my only wish for this film, my only true critique of it, is that I wish they had gone a little more all in on some of the yuck. And there is a bit of yuck, but it's only here or there in these moments that kind of pop out of nowhere. And perhaps that was Williford's aim. Perhaps he wanted a juxtaposition of this domestic situation mixed with this absurd criminal situation and then supernatural situation that collides at once, and then just sort of surprise you with these gross out moments. But I feel like a lot more people would end up talking about this film if he had gone in full throttle on the wildness. What you have instead is this unease, this sort of disturbing underlaying dread as things escalate. But again, it escalates at such a breakneck pace that it makes it really interesting. And I had to see what happened in, the 3 acts. It really is divided craftily for each half hour of the film. Cold Blows the Wind, out on VOD July 2nd. I'm Hub. This has been Video of the Damned on the Morbidly Beautiful Network.